So, I mean, you're talking about influence at the highest levels. And if you really put it into context, an Air Force Aviator is the ultimate diplomatic tool for influence. I mean, it's, we move at the speed of relationships and diplomacy, and sometimes we move at the speed of an F 16 or a missile. And that's what force projection is all about. You're heading overseas and you're using your mind and your words to influence others. And occasionally you use the cockpit to influence others. And it seems that we're in a day and age where force projection is maybe arguably moving away from individuals, human beings in the cockpit. Like, where do you see the future of force projection and how an aviator will fit into that rubric in future military combat?
Yeah, it's a pretty broad question. Moving forward, the basics that I learned, the basics are all still there. You have to have a conversation at the political level. It comes down, the reason you have a military is for deterrence. Capabilities, capacity, and political will are the three primary components of deterrence. You talk to any military person, they don't want war. They're in the military in order to prevent conflict, and you prevent conflict through deterrence. At the very highest level, the deterrence comes from that conversation at the diplomacy level to understand your partners, to understand people that you might want to influence, and that political will becomes a calculus that's within this rubric of deterrence. Now, deterrence also has those, the stick side of it. That's the soft-spoken side of things. The stick is your own capability and your own capacity. Again, the United States has a wonderful capacity with the numbers and capabilities are the types of equipment that we possess and the training that we go into it. And so this is what forms the basis of U.S. diplomacy from a military perspective, as well as military deterrence. And the two go very much hand in hand. So the future of that, those basic elements, I don't think are going to change. It's just what goes into diplomacy that will change based on different administrations, and what goes into military capability and capacity depends on technology, depends on where we go. Right now there's a big move towards drones and unmanned autonomous types of systems, and it's just a piece of the puzzle, but it goes into the whole map of what is the U.S. military's capabilities. And capabilities has this whole list of characteristics to it, and how much of that goes into the capacity for you to use it, and then the political will to go, yeah, we're going to go use that at a certain place, because military is the last resort to diplomacy. It's diplomacy through other means, they say.